Hi everyone, I'm Saara Anand. In this video, let us talk about a very interesting topic, Java. Well, let us understand what Java is, the different data types in Java, and the operators. Well, before even moving on to knowing about the syntax in Java or knowing about how Java is written, how the code in Java is written, or what all Java can be used for, it is very crucial to get our fundamentals clear. That is why today we will be covering the fundamentals of Java, namely what it is, the data types and operators in Java. Well, firstly, starting with what Java exactly is. Well, we all know Java is a programming language, but that is not it. We must understand entirely what Java is. Well, Java is a high-level object-oriented programming language developed by Sun Microsystems in 1995. Now, when I say Java is a high-level object-oriented programming language, what does that exactly mean? Well, Java is a high-level programming language, which means it is designed or written in such a way that humans can understand it. It is written or its syntax is written in a human readable and a human understandable format such that it resembles natural language. The syntax that Java follows is not like numbers or bits or bytes or codes that humans would not be able to understand. In fact, the syntax of Java is written in English and that resembles natural language. And that is why we say Java is a high level programming language. It is a programming language which is written in the form of a natural language which humans can understand when they go through or read it itself. Now, coming to object oriented programming language, well, object-oriented programming language deals with having the language organized as objects that are able to bundle the attributes, the data, and the methods, that is the functions that we use. This is a high-level object-oriented programming language. Well, it has been designed with simplicity and robustness in mind, and it has become one of the world's most popular programming languages. Well, Java's revolutionary feature is its platform independence. Write once and run anywhere. And this has been made possible by Java Virtual Machine. And this executes the compiled bytecode on any system. Well, Java, we all know it has become really popular. It is versatile, it is simple and robust. It is used for several applications. So when I talk about where all Java is used, it is not limited to only being used in some particular field, but in fact, it is used in several applications, and that is exactly why it is really versatile and that has made it popular as well. But now if I talk about revolutionary feature of Java, it is its platform independence, which says write once and run anywhere. Now Java Virtual Machine, it allows you to write the code once and then you can run that particular code anywhere. This way it executes the compiled byte code on any system. Wherever you write, that particular byte code which has been compiled would run on any system, and that is why we say Java is platform independent, and this in fact is one of the most revolutionary feature of Java. Well, today Java powers billions of devices worldwide from enterprise servers to Android smartphones. Right from Android smartphones to several web apps to enterprise level applications, everywhere we do see Java present. Well, if we talk about Java's statically typed nature, well, these are certain features that we must understand about Java. Well, in Java, type declaration is required. Every variable must be declared with a specific data type before use, and this establishes clear expectations. Well, what we understand by type declaration. If I am using a number, I must specify the data type I am using. So I cannot directly just assign a number to a variable, but I would also have to mention the data type of that variable first. And that is why we say type declaration is required in Java. And in fact, this helps to make it clear and predictable. Well, as we can see in this particular example, int number is equal to 10. This explicitly declares an integer variable named number. Well, int number is equal to 10. It explicitly says that int is an integer, so the variable which is number and the constant or the value which is 10 is being assigned to the variable number, and here the type or the data type of the variable number is an integer. And this makes it really clear and predictable. In fact, it also helps in compile time safety. Type checking happens at compile time, catching potential errors before your code ever runs. Now, if there are certain errors where you have not given the right type of value to a particular variable, or if they are not compatible enough, this would be checked right at compile time, and this would save us from any potential errors that may happen after the code runs. And that is why type checking happens at compile time itself, so that it can catch potential errors before your code even runs. And this is exactly what we refer by Java statically typed nature, where we would have to declare the type of the variables we are using. Well, now if we talk about primitive data types in Java, well, just an overview of it. We have 8 core types, 8 primitive data types that store simple values directly in memory without the overhead of objects. And these include numeric types like integers and floating point. Well, numeric types are of again two categories: integers, where we have simple integers, whole numbers written as a number, or floating point numbers written in the decimal format. And then we have character representation and Boolean logic values. Well, there are 8 of these primitive data types, and in fact, this is the most efficient way to store data and form the foundation of all Java programs. And in fact, that is why it is very crucial to firstly understand what a variable is, what the value stored in the variable is, and what the different types of data in Java are. And this is because we would have to explicitly mention the type of data that we are using in Java before even mentioning or declaring a variable as such. Well, these overall talk about the primitive data types in Java, that is the type or the nature of the data that we are working with. Well, talking about numeric primitive data types, Java offers 6 numeric primitive types, each optimized for different ranges and precision requirements. Well, talking about byte, it is an 8-bit signed integer ranging from -128 to 127. For example, byte age is equal to 25, so it is an 8-bit signed integer. If we talk about short, it is a 16-bit signed integer. If we talk about int, it is a 32-bit signed integer. If we talk about long, it is a 64-bit signed integer. That means it is a very, very large range. If we talk about float, it is a 32-bit floating point integer. If we talk about double, it is a 64-bit floating point integer. Well, what we must understand here is that all of these are numbers, but there is difference in their ranges. Well, talking about byte, you can see the range is short, -128 to 127. If we talk about short, they are 16-bit signed integers, a little huge. Well, if we talk about integers, if we talk about long and float, we do understand that integers stand for integers in the 32-bit signed integer range. Long stands for a very huge range, float stands for floating point with decimals, and double stands again for decimal numbers but with a higher range. Well, so this talks about the overview of numeric primitive data types in Java. Well, there are other primitive types in Java as well, which are char and boolean. Well, char is a 16-bit Unicode character. It represents a single character from the Unicode character set, enabling international text support. Well, if I mention the example char grade is equal to A, well, this is a character, nothing but a string, but it is non-numeric in nature. Well, so if we have a single character from the Unicode character set, it would be a char. If I talk about Boolean, well, as we all know about Boolean logic, also used in control flow and decision making programs. True or false? Boolean, for example, is Java fun, is the variable that I would like to use here in this example. And as we can see, it has been mentioned as true. So, well, this refers to true. So, well, true or false stands for Boolean operator. Well, if we now talk about Java operators and what they are. So now we have understood what primitive data types in Java are, the nature of the data that we are using in Java, or the type of data we are using in Java is referred to as data type. But now understanding what operators in Java are and what they exactly do. Well, operators are special symbols that perform operations on variables and values from simple math to complex logic. So we've already studied about operators in mathematics. And yes, very similar. Operators are these symbols that perform operations on variables. We do have arithmetic operators like the one we've studied about in mathematics to several other operators as well. So we do have arithmetic operators, we do have unary operators, assignment operators, relational operators, logical operators, bitwise operators, and ternary operators. But overall, operators enable the manipulation, evaluation, and transformation of data, which performs and is the engine of program logic. Well, to manipulate the data being provided, to evaluate it, to transform data from one particular sort to another sort, we overall need to manipulate the data, and this is done by operators in Java. Well, this is what operators do, this is how they perform operations, and this is how the categories that they are organized into. Well, understanding arithmetic operators with examples. Addition, plus. Well, we know this, it combines two numbers together. For example, if I have sum as the variable of the data type integer, where I want the sum of 10 plus 5, it would give me the result as 15. Basic math, right? So that way, plus is the arithmetic operator for addition, minus, as we can see, is the operator for subtraction or the difference, multiplication asterisk symbol is the operator for multiplication, division symbol, the slash symbol is the operator for dividing, and this would give us the quotient. For example, 10 slash 5 is 10 divided by 5, and the quotient and our answer would be 2. Talking about the modulus operator, it returns the remainder after division. So int remainder is equal to 10 mod 3, and the result that we get is 1 because 10 mod 3. The remainder of dividing 10 by 3 is 1. So these are the 5 arithmetic operators that we have in Java, namely addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the modulus symbol. Well, talking about unary and assignment operators, unary operators work with a single operand modifying or evaluating values in specialized ways. Well, what unary operators basically do is they just have one single operand. For example, I have assigned an integer value 5 to a variable and I go with x plus plus. What does that mean? Plus plus means increment, incremented by 1, so it is 6. If I would have used x minus minus, it would give me 4 because that would mean decrement. So increment basically increases the value by 1 and decrement decreases the value by 1. So we could have used addition or subtraction as well for this, but since we are just using a single operand directly incremented by 1 or decremented by 1, that is why these come under the unary type of operators. Talking about negation operators. Well, negation basically reverses the sign. Int z is equal to minus 5. And if I would like to reverse the sign and if I apply a negation over it, it would give me positive 5. So whenever we would like to reverse the sign from positive to negative or from negative to positive, we would have to go with the negation operator. Well, talking about logical NOT, similar to negation, but here it inverts the Boolean value. So Boolean flag is equal to exclamation true. The output would be what? The opposite of true, which is false. Well, so this is what we have understood from unary operators, either if we would like to increment the value by 1 or decrement the value by 1 or reverse the sign of a number or invert the Boolean value, we would be using the unary operators. Well, assignment operators in fact combine operations with assignment for conscience code. Well, if I use plus is equal to, that would mean add and assign. Minus equal to means subtract and assign. Multiply equal to means multiply and assign. Divide equal to means divide and assign. Modulus equal to means modulus and assign. Now what exactly it does? As we can see an example here, I have a number 10 and I am doing num plus is equal to 5. That means I have to add 5 to the number and assign that value to number itself. So 10 plus 5 is 15 and now I will be assigning the value of 15 to num variable itself. That means num plus is equal to 5, add 5 to the number, that answer you are getting, put that as the value for the variable itself. So this is exactly what assignment operators in Java do. Well, in this entire session, we have talked about the core fundamentals of Java, which is very, very essential if you are starting with Java today to understand what Java is, the features of Java, data types in Java, why we need to explicitly mention the data types in Java, about the different types of operators in Java, why we require operators in Java, how operators are used in data manipulation, about the different types of operators in Java with relevant examples. Thank you so much, everyone.